Yo, yo, yo. Uh-oh. And there's my mic. What's up, y'all? How y'all doing? This is CS with DWP. And I wanted to go on ahead and discuss my theories for Thoma. I had posted something in my Discord yesterday, and I kind of got confirmation as to what his DPS is like, right? So his DPS isn't going to be super fantastic, but I have a few theories as to what's going to work best on him. I still have to do my own testing personally, but for some reason or another, I really feel like maybe a 2 Bolide, 2 Tenacity might be the best way to go. Or you could do, I mean, it depends on what you're going to go for, but you can either stack on a bunch of energy recharge and run his shield plus a burst, or you could build purely for his shield, and building purely for his shield, of course, you know, for all intents and purposes, you're going to lack on his energy recharge, but that would work if you're running a situation like, as long as he's got like good batteries, like, and I got to get out of here. But yeah, if you're running something like the Shogun, and of course there's titties there, let's not do that. That's all I wanted to do. All right, cool. Let's go ahead and go back, I don't know, somewhere over here so we can kind of discuss them. But yeah, so what I'm highly recommending that you do, if you're going to go for shields, is you're going to be going Bolide Tenacity, and that's under the expectation that Bolide even works for him. Now, I don't know if it works for him. I haven't tested it. But the fact that no one's mentioning a 35% shield bonus kind of scares me. So it's like, I'm not exactly sure why somebody wouldn't. Now, I have his talent level at 6, but it is going to be based on his HP, and I don't have his HP high at all. He's only at 12,000. Meaning that I need to rank up more of his artifacts. Now, what I could do for now is give him Diona's artifacts, and we can kind of play around with that and see if there's anything with that. Is it? I honestly don't know. But when I'm rocking on Diona, not a 4-piece Bolide, but she does at least have a 2-piece Bolide. She also has the healing bonus, but you know, whatever. I just wanted to healing bonus with max HP stats, basically. 24,000. Now, it's not a whole lot, but we are rocking Bolide. So I want to see what happens with that. And I tested it yesterday. Not this, but I tested the Shogun build with him yesterday. And it was okay. He definitely was getting his energy back. That, for sure, was happening. And his DPS wasn't that bad. Usable? I don't know, but you know, once again, I don't have him, you know, triple crowned or, you know, level 90 and all that extra shit, you know, so I don't have him at that point. His normal's still pretty terrible, even with the catch. I mean, well, the catch is not a normals based thing, but his fire was hitting for like 4,000 with the 4-piece, basically with the entire Shogun set, right? With a pyro goblet instead of the electro goblet. So he was doing like 4K, 4K, somewhere around there. So it wasn't too bad. Could it be better? Absolutely. But, you know, I feel like it did kind of take a little bit more effort than it should have. So the only other thing I could think of doing with him is building him similar to Diona, minus the heals. Because with Diona, you would run Diona, you know, to be able to heal, which is in some cases where she gets her energy recharge from. And then you'd also run her for the shield, right? So that's where you get your Bolides and your tenacities and all that stuff starts to come in. Now, every shield character in the game benefits from a shield bonus, shield bonus stat. So why he wouldn't, I am not entirely sure, but you know, for all intents and purposes, let's see if I can even tank something. There's 1 hit, there's 2 hits, and it's gone. Can I get a shield back? There we go. Thank you. All right, he take that one. He tanked that. He couldn't tank that one. Ah. You know, to be fair, he's kind of not doing that bad. Like, Diona, her shield would have, well, okay, it went down at that point, but... But yeah, I feel like he's tanking more than Diona's. Yeah, he's not all bad. Thoma's potential is talent level locked only. I mean, I don't know. It might be, but I know as far as his shield, I'm already pretty impressed with his shield. The thing is, he might be very similar to Diona, where I think what we are going to end up trying to do long term, and I'm hoping this is not the case, but this might be the case, so where what we're trying to do is we're trying to make a DPS out of something that is just clearly not a DPS. Like, we're trying to get DPS out of something that just can't DPS. That might be what's happening. It might be, and I'm kind of starting to get that feeling. Now, we could really push DPS. I haven't farmed all artifacts yet, so I still got to do a bunch of testing. But I'm going to tell you right now, when I tried her 4-piece with a Pyro Goblet, and this isn't a weak goblet to my understanding. That's not necessarily a weak goblet. You know, Pyro, 10 crit rate, 12 crit damage. It's not 20, 30, 40, but it's still got pretty good stats. And it's base HP. That's cool, but it's still got, 8.7% attack. It's not a bad goblet. And with her set... and the catch with, I think when I was doing it, it was like 190 something energy recharge or something like that. It wasn't really that bad. And I think trading attack for energy recharge, sure, we could do that. But do we really want to do that though? Because the attack, I think, is given. Obviously, is given way more DPS than the energy recharge goblet would. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I don't know. I do know this much. He needs 1 to 2 sources of energy recharge, whether it be from his weapon and a 2-stat, or whether it be his weapon and energy recharge right here, or whether it be his weapon and energy recharge and the emblem 2-piece bonus. I'm not exactly sure. I still got to rank this up and see if that allows me to take off the 2-piece emblem set and replace it with tenacity. I got to go farm tenacity just to see what happens there. But so far with his shield, I am pretty impressed with this shield so far. Now Diona's 90, so there's no way I can compare Diona to him, right? But at the same time, I kind of sort of can, because, well, she's 90. So at 90, she should have a better chance as far as her shield is concerned, right? Not to mention her talent is 7 instead of 6. So in all fairness, she should have a stronger shield. Now, hers is strong, but with basically the exact same build, well, hers feels a little bit thin compared to his. So let's see what happens. Okay, that was an accident. Oh, all right. Okay. Well, it's cryo on cryo, but whatever. We'll check the physical damage, and it went away. We'll do that. There's one. There's two. There's three. Oh, she tanked all three. Okay. Okay, now it broke. Okay, so hers is stronger. So, okay. So hers is stronger. Let me check this comment out. I got 190% crit damage on Thoma, and he just can't perform. I'm hoping I just have to level his talent up. But it's really looking like Thoma is a true shield unit. Yeah, I think he's just going to be a true shield. That's what I'm thinking, because it'd be different if he shot flames out once every half a second or something. Like, just shoot it out faster. But at the speed it comes out, it's just not where it's at. And his normals are just not, like, they're just not good. Like, this dude at 42% feels like he hits harder. I don't know why. I don't know, man. It's just Thoma is just not strong, like, at all, and the numbers aren't making sense at all. I mean, at least to me, they're not making sense. Like, there's no reason why I shouldn't be able to turn 56% into 2,000, because I've done it before, but I can't do it on him for one reason or another, and I'm not exactly sure why. I mean, I'm pretty sure I know why. Like, usually in situations like, okay, usually what I end up doing for pure damage is, at some point I usually run Shiminawa and the thing, or Gladiator and their element. Like, it just works. Um, it just works, right? It works on their normals, it works on their element, it works on their burst, it works on their skill, it works, just everything works when I do that. But the thing is, this guy is split between three different stats. Actually, well, technically four. He's split between four different stats. And that's his issue, is you have Pyro to deal with, HP to deal with, of course, his attack to deal with, and then, well, his Pyro, I should say. You got Pyro, HP, energy recharge, and attack. And dealing with all four of those stats, you got your physical and Pyro. Those are two different stats. You have to balance four different stats on this guy. And from what it seems like, the most important stat, in regards to his shield, obviously, is going to be HP. If you're going DPS, it's going to be Pyro for, obvious reasons, I guess. But something that's, for what the fuck ever reason, is equally important is energy recharge. Now, that destroys his entire kit. It actually ruins the character. He's actually starting to feel like a bad character because of that. Because, like, that alone is making him feel like a bad character. Like, it really does. Like, if you took his energy recharge away, it wouldn't be as bad. But because he requires it for the sake of his kit, that is, in my opinion, is really ruining the character. And the only way to really offset it is you want to give him a battery of some sort, like maybe it could be Bennett, Xiangling, maybe both of them, the Raging Shogun, something like that, even Kaching, like just somebody who can battery him or run bare minimum one energy recharge stat, whether it be on the weapon, on the timepiece, or spread amongst your substats. Like, but you're going to need at least 50 extra energy recharge, if not an extra 100, just to take care of his shield. And from what it's looking like, even though his shield is, mathematically at least, seeming like it's going to be the best shield, it's So far. It's not performing like that so far at talent level 6. Now, don't get me wrong. I have to get him to 90. I know that makes a huge fucking difference. But the difference between 24,000 health and 30,000 health is only, what is that, like 15% or something like that? It's like a 15% difference, which isn't that big. You know what I mean? So is he going to be that much greater at providing a shield? At this point, I'm not entirely sure. I think the only thing that he has that far beyond everybody else in the, the situation is he can refresh a shield without the need of a sacrificial weapon. And come to find out, there's no such thing as a sacrificial weapon as far as pole arms, which is fucking odd. But, he can do that. And so can Xin Yan for some fucking reason. It's like on one of her constellations or something, she can recast her skill on, it's somewhere in her kit. I forgot where the fuck it was, but somewhere in her kit, long story short, she has something where if you get a level 3, you can just recast your shield if you need to, or some shit like that. It was something like that. So Xenia, she does have something like that, but it's a super specific situation. For him, you just have to hit his burst. The problem with him is getting to his burst, but as a benefit to it, it does scale his shield up from what it seems significantly higher. But as far as builds are concerned, the only thing I can see getting him to a point of DPS, and this is me just using my Warframe brain at this point, is if you disregard energy recharge for now, and you disregard his physical damage, the only thing I could see really working is the 4-piece emblem set with Pyro, and doing that rotation and getting fucking all crit rate rolls and running a what is it called? Running the Staff of Homa. And then you would just run attack, Pyro, crit rate. And in very rare cases, crit damage. If you happen to get at least 10 to 15 crit rate on all your artifacts, you could actually run a crit damage circlet, provided it has at least 10 crit rate, because then you'd have 50 crit rate. 50, you got 50, 60 crit rate with God knows how much crit damage. And maybe at that point, then he would be doing some type of damage via his burst. Because you will be taking whatever the number. First off, the only reason you're running the only reason I'm even proposing the emblem set is because it gives a burst bonus. And you're probably going to have an energy recharge stat somewhere in this kit anyway. But if you're not running an energy recharge stat anywhere in his kit, you might as well just run Pyro and fucking Shimenawa or Gladiator or something like that. Just whatever you can do to buff that Pyro damage. And the thing about it, the 4-piece Pyro only works for one stack, and the one additional stack is not going to give you enough damage on a consistent basis. You would actually do more damage with just having Gladiator there. You might as well just run Gladiator Pyro and call it a day, and it's just Pyro, and that's it. Otherwise, if you're running energy recharge, which is what it seems like he hella requires, then you're going to have to run an emblem set just to offset the loss that you're going to take just trying to build him for damage. And even still, you're going to be getting maybe a 40-something% additional damage towards your burst. You're not going to get that much additional damage towards your burst, but it's going to be something to offset the damage that you're going to be losing, because you're losing a subset off your weapon, which could be crit rate or crit damage. If you're losing crit rate, you're losing the opportunity to put a 62% crit damage roll on your circlet. You know what I mean? If you're losing crit damage on your weapon, now you have to run crit damage. which means you're losing crit rate. So you got to get that from somewhere else. Either way, you're losing a crit balance stat. If you don't have an attack sub stat, well, you're losing 46 to 50 to whatever number that could potentially be. So that's a bunch of attack gone. And then, God forbid your timepiece, right? You're losing 46 attack right there. So you're losing almost 100. You're losing like 80 to 100% attack just trying to get his energy recharge to a respectable amount, right? And that's what's fucking him up. And the only way I can even imagine to offset that is via some type of bonus stat, which has to come from the emblem set, which in that case is going to benefit from you having the all that energy recharge on him anyway. Now, that's only if you want to go DPS. But by having an emblem set, it's not going to bolster your shield numbers. You're actually still going to have a not so great shield. Because at that point, you're still leaving out the opportunity to have 35%, like a 35% shield bonus stat, which is a lot. And then you're leaving out the opportunity to have 20% HP, which is, like I said way earlier, I'm going to be running tenacity for the 20% HP. All of that is just to get my shield up to par. Because I don't have any other weapons, and I'm not running whatever that 3-star one is. I can, but fuck that. I want the Favonius Lance because it gives me those 3 particles. That's why I want this weapon. It gives me the extra particles. You know what I'm saying? So I'm running this for my energy recharge. And I don't mind having HP stats for everything else. That's not a problem. And then I'm going to test it across the board and see what I can do. I'm going to rank this up, put the Shogun set back on. I'm going to run the test, see what can see what's possible. And then we'll take it from there. But all this is just theory. I'm just theoretically kind of building them in my head. Right? As far as damage is concerned, though, and it's like, I can't think of any other way to get his damage really up there and keep his burst up. That's the only feasible idea that I have because of the amount of energy recharge you actually have to give to him for him to work. And this is after me like killing bosses with him so far. Like I haven't killed Azdaha with him, but I killed this Primo Geo Vishap a few times. I killed what's his name? Maku Kinki a couple times. I killed this array thing like 7 times. Like, because I hang out here and then I just scroll up and it's right there. So I killed that thing hella times. And going in there just these amount of times, it's like, yeah, he needs energy recharge. He just has to have, even just to give me a shield again when my shield is on cooldown. Because like I said, there's no sacrificial weapon that's a polearm, right? So just to give me the opportunity to have another shield, I still got to have a burst. And if that's the case, then I got to have a bunch of energy recharge. And I don't mind having 2 energy recharge stats. But if I'm going to have all this energy recharge, I might as well just not let the damage go to waste. God forbid I get a reverse vape or a melt off and then it just hits for complete ass cheeks. It's going to be like, okay, well, that was a waste of a situation. I might as well just ran Diona. You know what I'm saying? And he's promising, but as a main DPS, it's not looking good. It was looking bleak from the beginning. When I went into the trial and he did not hit in the thousands easy, I was like, oh, this does not look good. And then when you look at his stats and how much attack he has and the percentages on his attack, none of that shit makes sense. Nothing makes sense. How hard he hits wasn't correlating to the actual number that came out when he's doing physical damage for whatever reason. Now, what I could do is I'm actually kind of willing to do this. I'm actually thinking about putting like just a standard. I don't have a pyro set, but I'm thinking about just putting a standard set on him. He would have like a standard like Zhongli set minus 15% pyro damage. Right? It'd be a pyro build, same exact thing, just minus the pyro. Like Zhongli has an attack artifact because I balance it between his his physical damage and his meteor, so I don't run a Geo artifact. That's why, if anybody's wondering. But I could run that set, get the Geo bonus. That's fine, but instead I have this artifact. Now I'd be losing 46 attack on his normals, or I could just run that and then we just lose 15% pyro damage and see what happens. And then we could just take it from there. Matter of fact, I'm more willing to kind of do that because that is something I have not tested. Because, you know, all due respect, my Zhongli is extremely balanced. And I believe he's really balanced. Like, he's about as balanced as at least I'm going to get him between his elemental and his physical damage. Right? And because we have this artifact and it's Petra, I mean, you know, it'd be nice if it was Lava Walker. And I do have a Lava Walker, which is a pretty good one. And I also have this Lava Walker thing right here. But that's not ranked up, nor is the other one. And I don't really think I care that much about 15% pyro damage. I could just look at the number and we could just kind of, okay, well, let's just add 15% because it's bonus damage. Right? Because it's bonus damage, it calculates on the end. So we could do it that way. Just for the ease of argument. Give me one moment. I'm getting myself a nicotine stick, and we're going to go try this Zhongli set out on him. Because theoretically, I don't see his damage being something that anybody should aim for. But I do believe if you put your mind to it, it is possible. And that's what's racking my brain about him. I feel like it's possible. We just haven't found the trick yet. And something about it tells me it's going to be coming from the emblem set. Even though he doesn't scale with it, well, nor does Xiangling and nor does Zhongli. But they work like a motherfucker with the emblem set. So, you know, because he actually needs it, like they don't really need it, but because he needs it, yeah, it in my opinion, makes way more sense to run emblem on him. But I don't have a really good emblem set yet, so. By the way, I don't know if you guys seen him with the catch and all of that. I mean, we could do that. I'm sure somebody's already got a video up with all of that, so I don't have to do that. So what we'll do, we'll just run the Zhongli set on him and see what happens with the crit and all that. We're gonna give him Zhongli's weapon, and then we'll give him my Zhongli's artifacts. We'll go fight the mechanical array. Where's it at? Give him that. We're gonna do it with the attack artifact. And then we'll do it a second time with the pyro artifact and see how that works out. These are some pretty respectable artifacts. You know, 18, 28, this, that, and the third, blah, blah, blah. Those are going to be his stats. So let's see what happens. His HP is going to be really low. Was he at 13 or something? Yeah, 13. So I'm going to give him Zhongli for now. Because we're not running a shield. I know this is super, like, contradictory to his point, but I'm curious. I haven't ran this on him yet. I ran the emblem with this weapon, and I didn't like it. So let's see what happens. All right. Definitely can't have your cake and eat it too, but let's see. Okay, that's not bad, actually. Hold on. That is kind of bad. Yeah, 52. 56. Yeah, something's wrong. $1,800. What's his attack? Plus 180. Was he like 7 and some change? What the fuck is his base attack? 900. How much attack? Oh, your base attack is hella low. Okay. That doesn't help. Alright, so 2,000. Let's run the other one. Gladiator. No, I need a gladiator. We're gonna give him Ningguang's gladiator. That's got 21. No, we'll keep this. That's got 28. We'll give him this one. This one's got 19. And then we'll battery him with the Shogun. Give me that fire. Thank you. Damn, dog. You got nothing out of that. Bro, your pool is fucking terrible. Oh my god, can I just get a burst, dog? Alright, we got a burst. Let's see what happens. Alright, so we have 4,000. Okay. So we would be at like 4,500 at that point. Now, if we compare this to hold on. There we go. Just giving my main man his artifacts back. Alright. But instead, give him the catch and all of, not all, but most of the Shogun's artifacts. We are going to be taking that from you, Mr. Zhongli. Actually, we're not. We're going to be taking that pyro one, though. Alright. And let's see what happens. Everything's 20, right? We got 199. All right. Okay, 37. Yeah, 37. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, so that's what it ended up as. So, man, this dude's gonna be rough. So now, just because I'm curious, what would happen magically if he did not have an attack artifact in that slot? But instead just had more energy recharge, I guess. Now, of course, we're going to want to max that artifact out. So we're missing like, what, like 10% pyro or something, or not pyro, 10% burst damage. But let's see what happens anyway. Give me the white. Give me the white. Give me the white. Dude. Oh, she has a Favonius. There. Ah, there we go. How much is that? 28. Okay. That would only put us at 3,000. Whew. Yeah, see? Yeah, that's not good at all. Keep in mind, all this is like pre-melt and all that, but I'm saying, yeah, that's not gonna be good. And I don't got the money right now. Yeah, he's got to go full shield. I could try with physical just to see what happens, but like even still, is there even a way? You know what? I actually want to know what happens with because I did that with Bolide. Like I think even with Bolide it didn't matter. So let's do a Bolide physical build. Just see what that's like, I guess. We're gonna give you that, and then we'll give you that, and we'll give you not that. We'll give you that. Can we at least get his physical damage looking good? We'll go crit rate, I guess. Let's give her stuff back. Excuse me. Where is it? It's the right piece, right? Yeah. And then you did have that. You did not have that. That's yours. All right. Make sure you're not all the way busted. Thoma can hold that for a second. I'm not worried about that. You're good. You're good. Bola, yeah. Okay. Bro. Yeah, even with physical, it's kind of terrible. Wow. Yeah, he's gonna be a rough one. Yeah, I don't think you could build physical. I don't think you could build damage. I don't think you could build damage. I think you just have to. I think the best build for him right now is straight shield, Bolide tenacity. I think that's what it boils down to. Bolide tenacity, Favonius energy recharge timepiece, and then HP. I think that's the best thing you could do for him. And even if you don't run HP, it'll be at least the Favonius Lance, just to at least kind of compensate for, because he's going to need energy at some point to at least be able to get a second shield out of it. And then just Bolide tenacity. And then HP there or energy recharge. I think that's like the only build that'll work for him. I'm not trying to crush the dreams, man. I'm not trying to. There's got to be a way to get more damage out of him. I don't have the rest of the builds still. But I am going to be grinding the builds because I already know for a fact that Tenacity Bolide is going to be his best shield build, period. You could build 4-piece this, but 4-piece this literally is only to get his burst back and do more damage. This shit doesn't give you shields. Bolide gives him shields. Bolide and Tenacity gives him shields. If you want a good shield, Bolide Tenacity, point blank. Whatever else you want to put on him, that's fine. But though the 2-piece Bolide, 2-piece Tenacity, best shield build. I already know. But as far as damage is concerned, I'm getting 40% on my normals just from having a shield, and it's not giving me. I don't feel like I'm getting 40% compared to what I was getting with Zhongli. Keep in mind, my Zhongli's numbers are smaller. I'm at 52%. His are at 56%. And it could be a case of him just having a low level. Like if you have a 4-piece Bolide, run 4-piece Bolide, and I think at this point everyone has this weapon ranked up. So if you run 4-piece Bolide with crit rate and a physical damage goblet, if you happen to have that, try the Crescent Pike with crit rate and see if his physical damage could go higher. But as far as that Pyro, the only opportunity I see for a Pyro build for him is gonna be a Shogun build, bro. And your substats are just gonna have to be beast mode, but he's gonna need like the catch and like energy recharge on his timepiece. Like he's gonna need that, and you're just gonna need some godlike substats. Like you can't run Shogun substats, you can't run shitty substats. Like you need like a lot of crit damage, a lot of energy recharge. It's because he, like I said before, he has 4 stats you got to build for. That's his issue. It's trying to balance out 4 different stats for his burst. You know what I mean? It's balancing out his, well, character wide. You're trying to balance out 4 stats, but you have to balance 3. You technically have to balance 3 stats for a good Thoma build, but for a DPS build, you have to balance 2 stats. And generally speaking, with a DPS build, you really only got to balance like 1 stat, and the 1 stat bleeds off into another one. But because and I'm talking about attack, right? But because his damage is so low, you kind of have to go all in on either hella Pyro, but going in on Pyro, you're going to lose the ability to even use his burst. He's going to be in a situation where like the Shogun was in, but she scales with it at least. He doesn't scale with it. You'll have to do some roundabout way of scaling him. Now, to be fair, at level 60 Ascended, with, no constellations and talent level 6, it's not that bad. I imagine it can get a lot higher if you crown it or get the constellations on him. You run the Staff of Thoma, and you run a 4-piece on her with an energy recharge timepiece. I'd imagine that'd probably be your best bet. It might take some additional grinding, but you would be looking at an energy recharge timepiece, preferably with better substats, obviously, and then a Pyro Goblet. Hopefully you got a Pyro Goblet just kind of laying around. And if you got that build, try that build. If you want damage, that would be the one I would try. And if not, the Staff of Thoma, because he needs energy recharge. The only other option I could think of is either the Skyward Blade or whatever it's called, that Skyward one. You just saw a Triple Crown Thoma. It's looking bad for Thoma. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not looking great for Thoma as far as damage is concerned. Right, but if you're not running, if you're not running Staff of Thoma, or that one that I guess Tenha was talking about, that HP staff, whatever that thing is called, whatever that 5-star one, that Skyward one that gives you energy recharge, that would probably be his best in slot for damage. That one with the 4-piece, with those like hella specific stats I was talking about, where you got that Skyward staff, or pole arm or whatever with the energy recharge. You get an energy recharge timepiece, and then you run a pyro goblet, and then you just get, it's just really your substats at that point. And then you crown his, you don't have to triple crown him, but you crown his burst. You know what I mean? At that point, I'm thinking maybe 10K base. I could see that being 10K base. That would make sense to me. Maybe 7K, at least 7K base. You know what I mean? But yeah, at that point, I could see 10K base. But it's really gonna weigh heavy on your substats. You're gonna need a lot of crit damage, like a lot of crit damage substats. If you get a minimum of like 20% crit damage on each artifact, including your crit rate circlet, it's going to take a lot of grinding. But if you get it, at that point, if you get that, you might as well just run a Shogun. But, you know, because he's a shield character. But if you want DPS on him, then you would be looking at something like that. At that point, that's where it's like, okay, I got a feeling he can do 10, 20K shit like that for his burst. Outside of that, I don't think it's feasible. Like, it's going to take a lot of time and a lot of effort. I can already tell. And I think they built them that way because because MiHoYo knows how we think at this point. They know, oh, okay, well, we want to do damage. That's just how it works. And I've said it quite a few times on the channel already, you know, don't build a DPS character out of something that's not DPS, and he's not a DPS character. I thought he was a hybrid. I thought he was going to be a hybrid character, but it's not looking like that. You know, but, you know, I'm going to do my part, you know, wait to just, you know, let me finish grinding out the artifacts. And then I could tell you for sure. But so far, no, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know. It's just I really think it's going to be, if you want, that's what I was saying earlier, though, where I was like, I think the issue with him is you are going to have to pick a side with this character. You can't have the shield and do damage. You're either going to do damage or you're going to have a shield. You cannot have both. You can't. There's no way. Looking at his kit, there's no way you're going to be able to have. But I didn't think his normals were going to be that bad, though. I didn't think his normals were going to be that bad. I thought his normals would at least be a little bit better, but his normals aren't showing any levels of promise right now. I was hitting in the thousands early with this dude. Like, super early. I was hitting in the thousands dumb early with her. That's why I put all them damn talents into her. And that's also why I was saying I don't understand why he's not hitting in the thousands, because he's at 52% hitting in the thousands easy. Super easy. Like, without the geo resonance. And he's struggling to hit 900 at 56%. Level 60 or not, bro. This dude's hitting 3,000. She's hitting 1,500 with nothing on her. Like, at least 1,100. She's hitting 1,100 at least with this and this, but her, you know, like, I don't know. We just gotta wait. But you have a level 90, so it's gonna be a little while before I get him up. And I think I said that a little bit ago, where it's like, let's get, you know, give me about 2, because that's why I said that's why the stream is, you know, titled what it is, you know, where it's like, okay, well, Thoma build theory discussion. You know what I mean? Where, what is it going to look like building him one way versus another? And I still do think that with a proper shield build, not a slap together, whatever the fuck build, still kind of shooting for that energy recharge DPS. Like, nah, you got to go all in on the shield. Like with Diona, like, you got to go all in on her shield. You go all in, 2-piece bolide. You know, and she's a healer, so I got the 2-piece whatchamacallits on her. Boom. You good. You know what I'm saying? He don't even heal. So at that point, you can go all the way into his shield. 2-piece bolide, 2-piece tenacity. Bada bing, bada boom. Call it a day. Same thing with Noelle. 2-piece bolide, 2-piece that new defense one coming out. Or you could do the 4-piece defense one that comes out. You know what I mean? Yeah, Diona's really good. I really like Diona a lot. I like Diona a lot. So, but the thing with Thoma, similar to Diona, is you can only go so far as having your cake and eating it too. That's basically it. A shield version of Barbara. Yeah, basically. You know how Barbara, yeah, basically. Barbara, you go all in for heals. With him, you got to go all in for shields. You know what I mean? She carried your free to play ass. Hey, she carries my, I'm a low spender. I do the $15 a month thing, $5, and I guess it's 11 for the battle pass. I do that, right? And, yeah, man. Yeah, Diona helps me so much in the Spiral Abyss. And looking at him, I think he's really going to be a good shield character, but you got to go all in. Like, for example, Zhongli, you don't have to go all in because he's Zhongli. You know what I mean? You can just do whatever the fuck with Zhongli and you got what you got. Like, bitch, I'm Zhongli. Now go. Like, fuck you mean. Like, that's Zhongli. You know what I mean? Like, he can do that. But that's because his shield scales ridiculously. But unless you got ridiculous scaling on your shield, then it's going to be another shield. It's good scaling, but you have to go all in to get it that way. And even still, it's not going to compare to Zhongli. He's a 5-star. And he is the Archon of shields. So, to be fair, you know what I'm saying? But on the bright side, he can introduce, and this is what I was thinking he was going to end up being too, similar to what Xing Yan was, at least what she was he's going to be pyro resonance for your pyro carry. You can actually do like Bennett and have a shield with pyro resonance. You know what I mean? Yeah, I love Albedo. I'm basically I'm almost done with Albedo completely, but I love Albedo, bro. Albedo helps me everywhere. Matter of fact, when I did whatever that event was that, whatever this is, what is it called? Whatever the chamber thing is, it was, I'll show you the team. I ran this team exclusively in there. Like, I think it was one time I didn't play I think it was one time I brought in a different character, but that team carried the whole time. I think the only time it changed was when I had to fight one of them electric dudes, and at that point I switched her out for Xiangling and kept Ibedo in. So yeah, you like him and Xiangling, Child, and Diona? Yeah, yeah. You haven't used them, put them by accident, got them in a 110 pool. Albedo's really good. Albedo is a character that a lot of people sleep on and don't really understand how strong he is. Like, Albedo's really strong. Really, really strong. Watch, I'll show you real quick. Like, this isn't even like a proper Albedo, because Albedo, technically, you're going to run Tenacity on, but what's a meta build? Tenacity. You just run 4-piece Tenacity, a Geo Shield, defense Goblet, and you don't even have to do a defense or a Goblet timepiece. You don't have to, but, you could run this or attack. If I had an attack one, I would run that instead, because he's never on the field, so I don't need him to defend against anything. But you just run kind of whatever. He scales with defense. He scales with a lot of defense. I don't know if all defense gets him that high, but if it does, like, you can just get all defense Tenacity pieces and just run that. All your high defense pieces, no artifact synergy. Yeah, he is one of those characters though. Like, you don't really need to synergize 2-piece this and 2-piece that. You don't need to, but you can. But if you look, that little 4,000 that I'm hitting, like, that's not nothing to Albedo. 9,000. Hold on. 9,000. Like, 9,000. Like, he just does that with, like, not a complete build. Like, that's Albedo. So every 2 seconds, you get a hit of 9,000. And some people are hitting up to, like, 15,000. I bet he's really easy to build for. Really, really easy. Like, super easy. The meta is tenacity because tenacity gives him like it gives your team a buff, but you don't even have to do that though. Yeah, he's really good. He's really good with anybody who can hit all the time, which is why I have him. Well, I have him on the team with Zhongli because it's two Geo characters, and you get the Geo resonance when you're inside of a shield, and that bolsters his number even higher. Plus, I had some Geo artifacts that I was never going to use, so I run that on him. It gave me a reason to use that, and then you know I had a defense artifact. Was like, fuck it, why not? And then he needed crit rate, so I gave him that. But I gave him all my Zhongli Ningguang hand-me-downs, and it just worked. You know what I mean? Yeah, because even when he's off the field, it still applies, right? So, and it stacks. And because his hits every 2 seconds, you sustain the buff of tenacity. At least that's what people are using on him. But, I mean, really, he's like the point of Albedo is to create shields on the fly while doing damage without actually having to do anything. And surprisingly, that little flower has a lot of health. Like, there's a lot of Geo constructs that die before his does. Maybe it has to do with his defense. I'm not entirely sure, but my Zhongli pillar dies before his little flower dies. So if I do this, and I set a flower next to it, and I just stand here, like this pillar is gonna die before that flower will. And it's not that the pillar is hit more, it's just that, well, the pillar dies faster. Bam, the pillar's still there, and that was a direct hit on it. And we'll wait, and I guess we'll do it right here. And there goes that thing. Yeah, so yeah, I bet he's a good character. He's a really good character. Yeah, so I like him. I really like Albedo. He's helped me out a lot, like a whole lot. He makes it to where I can actually do physical damage and feel like I'm actually doing damage. Like he's like, here's the best way I can put Albedo. If you have a situation where you can't, for whatever reason, seem to do the melts and the this and the that and the blah blah blahs, just put this out. You'll do something. It'll do something. And if you have like a character out there putting an element on somebody, that enemy's gonna drop shields. So you don't need Zhongli. But if it depends. You can get really creative with him. You can get really creative. Albedo has a ton of uses, just nobody really uses them like that. I use them, but nobody really uses them like that. Like, let's say you don't have Zhongli, you can stick like one elemental mastery artifact on him, and magically your shields can tank half the game. Just off this guy. Like, you put one elemental mastery artifact on him, you pop this thing, hit that, and create some shields, and you pick one up, and that fucking thing lasts for... That thing lasts. You can tank with those shields off like one artifact. Like it's pretty promising. So, but that's Albedo. We talking about Thoma. Thoma, the almighty terrible Thoma. Soon to be great, but for now it's like. But I'm trying to find Thoma's potential outside of reactions because he's fire, you can get crit reactions off of him, and you could bolster his numbers by 2 and 1.5, and you could just multiply whatever number he produces. So if I can get his number high, you don't have Thoma yet. I mean, he can refresh a shield, so that's nice. I tried him as a sub DPS, and he was okay as a sub DPS. There are times where he felt like he was interrupting my reactions, like this situation. He was interrupting my reactions, but, it wasn't that big a deal. Let me not run him as a main, and I'll run somebody else as a main, I guess. We'll run Ayaka, I guess. And then we'll do Thoma, I guess. Just saw 100k on his skill with Bennett Sucrose. Yeah, but it took this to do it though. And like I said, you could do that 100K thing with anybody. Bennett makes it hit 100K off his skill with Mona. So it's not, you know, it's like, wow. Like, yeah, but, you know, I mean, maybe, I don't know. But I don't know. I mean, I figure if his standalone damage is nice, if we can get his standalone damage, particularly his burst, if we can get his burst, like you were saying, like when you first pulled him, right? He was like, as long as his burst hits for 10K, then we're good, right? And I think it's a stretch, but I don't doubt that it's possible because we're at 30. Like, let me see. We're at 3,700. No, 2,800 with this artifact, right? And that doesn't have crit damage on it. This doesn't have crit damage on it. I mean, this one did, but this doesn't have crit damage on it. So we're missing a lot of crit damage. And then also you have the Staff of Homa, let alone the R5. You know, so my skill hits 20K, so there's some hope. Yeah, your skill is hitting 20K, so something is there. It's just a matter of getting the burst to hit for 10K at least, because the skill does hit like 3 times harder. So I imagine your burst must be hitting for at least 6, 7K. It's got to be somewhere around there. And getting an extra 3K out of it could just be as simple as, you know, a couple energy recharge stats on this 4P. I don't know what set you're running, but if you're running like this set, last time I checked, you were running the Crimson set, right? But if you're running something like, I really think this set is what's going to push him over. I think this is going to be the set that gets him over because of the energy recharge. If it wasn't for his energy recharge, then he would be hitting 10K right now. But because you have to deal with energy recharge because it's a thing, then it's like, all right. And because he needs it, this set is like the remedy. That's the only remedy I could think of. Right. And if it's, what is it? Increases elemental burst damage by 25% of your energy recharge, right? I want to see a Thoma with 300% energy recharge. I want to see what that looks like. Yeah, give him the Shogun sword. Because the Shogun's weapon is energy recharge, right? If you have the Shogun's 5-star weapon, you could try that. I mean, obviously, free to play won't be hitting those type of numbers, let alone low spenders. But for those who have that weapon, it at least shows promise because whale numbers are only about, not whales, but like those type of weapons, like weapon banner weapons, are only so far ahead. They're only like 15 to, well, 30%, but it's like 15 to 30% stronger than what free to play can do, provided the builds are the same. You know, in some cases they're like 100% stronger, but in most cases they're like 15, 20, 30, sometimes 50, but they're not 100. It's not, your damage doesn't double by having the Staff of Homa. Your damage should go up like 30% from the Staff of Homa. Something like that. You know what I mean? But if you have the Shogun's weapon, because of the energy recharge cycle he's stuck in, then with the Shogun set, provided you got, you know, like I said, really good rolls on it, you could try that and see what happens. And then just make sure you put a Pyro Goblet on. And I think we all have mismatched goblets, so I'd imagine you got all the other pieces. I imagine your set looks like this. You know what I mean? Circlet, flower, feather, timepiece is the 4-piece. And then your goblet is probably some random shit. Right? But with Thoma, yeah. Let me know what you get back from that. If that set, with the weapon at 90 and the artifacts ranked up, and because you have him at 90 and you about to crown his ass here in a minute, like with where you have him, I would not be surprised, provided you got good substats, that he's hitting 10K. I wouldn't be surprised. and at bare minimum like 8K, like 8K bare minimum. And to my understanding, crowning, there's a jump in the scaling. So if you crown it, then you should be really close, if not at 10K. I think it's a theory. It's a build theory. It's not theory crafting. I'm not putting potions in water like Kaching mains, but just theoretically speaking, I think you should be around there. If you're gonna do that though, then I'll go on ahead and take on the task of seeing what we could do about his physical damage and balancing that, because elemental mastery. Yeah, for the most part. So elemental mastery, first things first, it only works on reactions. And actually, if you need a little bit more information about it, it's right here. So it only works on reactions, and it works best on transformative reactions, or at least that's where you get the biggest multiplier. You know what I mean? What's going on, Hifumi? How you doing, brother? But yeah, so you get the biggest number from transformative reactions. Anything that reacts with not fire, water, or ice. Everything else is transformative, basically, right? It does work well on non-transformative reactions. I forgot what they're called, but the non-transformative, fire, water, and ice, it does work for those, but it only works to buff your reactions. That's pretty much it. And usually the time, yeah, no problem. And usually the time when you use elemental mastery is when your team comp thrives on reactions. At that point, elemental mastery might be something to look into, because for one reason or another, it seems to scale really good. Even out, like let's say and it's usually replacing the timepiece. So let's say you have, which is why I'm keeping some of these elemental mastery timepieces. I got a few of these things I'm keeping, right? So elemental mastery on a timepiece, I think, to put it in perspective, would be the difference of, like, let's say you hit for 60K ultimate on like a melt. If you replace the attack timepiece with an elemental mastery timepiece, you should go from like 60K to like 65, sometimes even 70K. Like that's depends on the reaction, right? It does add to the damage, not by a whole lot, but it does add a lot. And this is why also you'll see characters like Sucrose rock up, 700 plus elemental mastery. Because when she swirls whatever the fuck is in there, that swirl reaction is gonna buff whatever she swirled by 436%. So if you hit for 100,000, you're now hitting for 400,000. Usually not the case, but that's kind of how that works. Most people use Sucrose because she passes off elemental mastery, but she only passes off 20% of her elemental mastery. Right, so really, I'm only passing off like what 80% or some shit like that, something like that. I'm only, So that's elemental mastery in a nutshell. But it only works on reactions. Don't add elemental mastery unless you're planning to do reactions like melt, vaporize, electrocharge, overload, stuff like that. Had the worst strain today. What happened? You went to the gym? I hope all is well, brother. I was just running some tests with Thoma, and it's not looking good for the homie, man. Not looking good for him, but I'm not finna give up on him. I see DPS potential. It just might take a lot of work. Not to mention, I know there's a lot of people who really like him and want him to work as a main DPS, and I won't know until I fully build him. But I have to fully build them, which is going to take like 2 weeks to a month, because I got a bunch of other stuff I'm working on. Oh, you got a strength? Oh, yeah. I thought oh, no, I didn't think he was talking about that. But yeah. Yeah, we Cali over here, so I know exactly what you're talking about, brother. Strain. We talking about them strains. You know what I'm saying? You don't gym. It's all good. You don't got to I don't gym either. We all should, but not all of us do. All right, so what are we gonna do with Thoma? So let's do some random ass melting with Thoma. Seattle? Yeah, Seattle's. I got a homie up there, a homegirl up there. She's pretty dope. Pretty dope. Oh yeah, we were doing physical damage with the bolide. That's what it was. And with that, I wanted to give him an attack time piece, just to see what happens. Huh. Ooh, okay. Oh my God, you're so terrible with your fit. I'm not even gonna try. 400? Nah. Nah, I've gotten new characters to hit harder than that. Oh, by the way, oh yeah, you seen it. By the way, Saint, look what your boy got. Oh shit, we might be 36 in the abyss in like a month. Like a month and a half, because I gotta build him too. But we finally got Goober Man. Finally got Rain Pockets. We finally got the Book Reader. We finally got Meta Man. And yeah, I put that sword. It's funny too. Where I think you were here for that stream. I was like, man, I'm just missing. You know, I got. Oh yeah, you were here, Saint. When I was talking about all the stuff. Yeah, he is easy. Yeah, he's super easy to build. Like, I just slapped whatever I had right now, and it was like, cool, I'm just going to use that as a placeholder and get Noblesse later. You know, I'll get the Noblesse thing later. I might end up just running 2-piece Hydro, 2-piece Noblesse, call it. I'm not finna do science with him. You know what I mean? I could do the 4 and all that extra shit. I'm not doing that with him. He's just finna get a nice little plug-and-play build, something that's been working for a year now. It's been working for a year. Cool. He's not my main. He's literally there to just do Spiral Abyss things and then other things, and then we're good. But I gotta build Xing Cho up. But I want to build Thoma before I go to Xing Cho. You know what I mean? So we're gonna be doing the things with him before we get to Xing Cho. Then I'll do Xing Cho later. Xing Cho's meta than a motherfucker though. We still gotta figure this guy out. And I do agree with you saying I cannot find a reason not to use a Favonius Lance on him. I can't. I'm trying. It's either this or the Shogun's weapon. Or the catch. Like, maybe the catch. But it's like, this is the only weapon I feel like works on him. Because he requires that much energy. Let me give him this back real quick. And then we'll give him the catch for now. Actually, why am I doing that? You don't need that. All right. Doop 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 doop. Okay. That was an accident. That's what I was trying to do. See them little ass fire numbers? That's why I was mad. And that's why it's an issue. Because he's doing the melt. See, because here's the issue. The issue is he's the trigger. That's the issue. Right? And when you're the trigger, your number should be the bigger number. Right? So if I'm hitting for 7,000 per hit, you better hit for 7,000 a hit or bigger for that melt to be worth it. Now, if it was a reverse melt, then you need to hit for like 10,000 a hit in order for it to be worth it. Because otherwise, I should have just did a reverse melt with her. And what are we talking about with that? Well, okay, that just means you hit fire first and then ice. So if I hit his skill, right, bam, and then I do this, well, okay. So see how that hits for 4,000, but it hit for 7,000? Well, take 4,000, cut the number in half, take that half, add it to the 4,000, and then add that. Well, not like that, but you take the 4,000, cut it in half, and then add that on top, and that's what you hit for. That's why it was 7,000, right? But if you take, that's a reverse melt, right? But a regular melt is when you hit with ice first and then hit that. So that normally hits for what did it say, 2,000 or something like that? I'm gonna wait for his skill to come back. Okay. So we're gonna be wasting a little bit of time, but 1,800? Okay. So if that hits for 1,800, it should hit for 3,600 on a melt. Basically is how that works. On a regular melt. So if I come up and I hit ice, bam. And then I do that, 23. Oh, okay, that wasn't a crit. Wasn't a crit. Wasn't a crit. We're going to try one more time. Wasn't a crit. Come on, Thoma. Oh, even better. So that's going to be based on his crit damage. So 36 plus whatever his crit damage is, plus 77% of his base, that's going to get you to the 40 or whatever. So the melts are working, but the problem is when it comes to his burst numbers are so small that you're getting negative returns on the damage that you can do. If that makes any kind of sense. And that's why everybody's kind of up in arms about his damage, because it's nullifying the purpose of melt. So you got a shield, but then when you hit his burst, it's kind of like, well, why the fuck am I doing this? Because I didn't want to do a melt at that moment, but it did a melt and it removed my ice proc. And it's just like you're kind of in this weird back and forth thing. So what would end up happening is you would have to hit with this first, like a normal one, just to proc fire on him. And then I would have to dash and hope the dash doesn't even remove the fire. Because by doing this, it removes the fire. And you run into things like that dealing with Thoma. Just playing the game in general. You run into those type of situations where the order of it does kind of matter. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that his hits are so slow is, I think, why people were complaining about him so much. Like a lot. And it makes total sense now. And when I first did the reading about him prior to his all of that stuff coming out about Thoma, I pulled up Honey Impact and we went through his values, right? And I'm like, okay, well, his burst, the damage is not looking good at all. Like, at all. Like, this is at talent level 6 and it's at 81% on Fiery Collapse. That's not looking great. Now, I don't know what his is right now, but Sword Rain is 54%. I don't know what his are, but he shoots like 5 of them. Let's say 3 for all intents and purposes right now. So at level 1, he's hitting at 150% per sword. Whereas he's hitting at 81% at talent level 6. So he's weaker at a higher level. That already looks kind of problematic, right? And it works in a melt situation, sure, because with melt, fire is a 2.0 multiplier. Whereas if he was doing this shit with a water character, he'd be hitting at a 1.5 multiplier. So his damage is even weaker. And the problem is, what's happening is when he's the trigger, because he's going to be the trigger because it shoots slow. But basically what that means is by the time he actually hits with fire, you've applied whatever previous element probably 3-4 times over at this point. So that element is on that enemy. And then his fire comes out to cause a reaction. And when his fire comes out to cause a reaction, because his number is so small, you're not actually getting any kind of beneficial damage from it, according to what we need today, particularly in the Spiral Abyss. And we got the Mago Kinki, and we got this Array Machine, and we got Primo Geo Vishaps, and things with big HP pools now, like the Samurai, so on and so forth, right? So because of that, he's not really fitting the narrative of the game right now. If anything, he's removing the ability to do that type of damage. And slotting him in is making it rough. And the only time I could see him really working is in a Pyro Resonance comp, where he's alongside somebody else who can deal pyro damage, and he's just icing on the cake, right? The problem on top of that is, let's say you have Xiangling, and just introducing the issues so we can kind of, okay, we know the issues are there, so let's handle that and figure out how we can overcome that. As long as we know what the problem is, we can find a way to overcome it, right? So let's say you have Thoma, and then just for example's sake, you have like Xiangling, and then you got, I don't fucking know, Mona or whoever, Xingqiu, whatever, right? Like, this is your team, bam. Or even, let's just say the Shogun, whatever. Or not the I guess not the Shogun. Whoever. It really doesn't matter. I'll put Mona here, bam. So this is your team, right? And you're doing the Mona things, and then you hit Gooba, and then you hit her burst, right? What you're hoping for, because Gooba is so continuous, you're hoping that Gooba is going to do a reverse vape. But when it comes to Mona, actually, she's a little complicated, but just for example's sake, you're hoping that Gooba causes a vaporize, right? You splash him with the water, Gooba does a vaporize or a reverse vape, you get your 1.5 times multiplier, and you're good. The thing is, Gooba is fucking strong as shit, right? Now, it says 178, but then there's also stipulations that comes with her, right? It's 178, great. First off, 178 is 2 times stronger than 81%. It's only 1 talent level higher, yes, but we're already double, and you guys are neck and neck. You guys are like right next to each other. What is it, talent level 8, talent level 6? Like, you're kind of close. I'm pretty sure he's not gonna get to 170 in 2 talent ranks. I'm pretty sure, right? So so if anything, you're hoping Gooba is the one to do it. Now, if you happen to land and you're in the heat of battle, and you just do that, well, the fire does come out pretty quick. And if it comes out and it hits before Gooba, you just missed out on a vaporized opportunity and got half the damage you would have got if Gooba would have just did it. On a free character. That doesn't have a shield, but, you know, he's still there. You know what I'm saying? So those little issues in the long term might start to present an issue. And I think the build that we give him is going to make him more beneficial to the account, depending on how we build him, right? But we have to hash out his damage first, because it's so low, it's really not looking worth any energy at all. But for science and for the community, I'm going to try and break this dude apart and put all the things on him and build him for, because I already know what his shield is going to look like. His shield is going to look pretty impressive. Like, I can tell you right now. If you have two tenacities and 2 bolides, and you got a bunch of HP stats with a bunch of HP substats, rank them up, put them on him, forget about it. You're done. And give him a energy recharge weapon and call it a day. You're done. There's nothing else to do. He's good to go. Rank up his skill. Rank his burst up a little bit, maybe to like 5, 6, maybe even 4. You could probably stop at 4. Get his skill to 6. You're good. You know, you can get it to 8, 9, whatever. I don't even think you got to crown it. I don't even think it's that serious. His shield, I think, is going to be really promising. Bolide, tenacity, HP stats everywhere. One energy recharge stat just to keep you in the green, and then you're good. But as far as his DPS is concerned, because it's so questionable, I think this is going to be a test for anybody who's into building like I am. I'm not so much into the numbers, but I'm more into the theories about, okay, well, if we do this, what would it look like if we do? And I don't want to bust out an Excel spreadsheet just to do all this. That's another thing. I could just slot him into my Excel spreadsheet. It'd take like a day, but I would just slot him into the Excel spreadsheet, and I could just spit the number. Unless you guys want me to do that, I can do that if that would be more beneficial for you guys. You know, we did it for Ayaka. We did it for, who is it? We did it for Ayaka. We did it for Ningguang. We did it for Albedo. We did it for Ganyu. We did it for Zhao. We did it for, we didn't do it for Hu Tao. I forgot. We did, we did it for Xiangling. We did it for a few people. There's a few characters in there. We haven't done it for all of them, but we did it for a lot of them. And the last person I was working on was Noelle. But based on what I know from that Excel data about the other characters' starting points and how they scale, I see that he can potentially hit 10K, right? Using theory to boost your playstyle is what it's about. Well, yeah, exactly. So if there is a way to slot him into various playstyles without having to go to Excel, then I think that would make it more fun for everybody else. Right now, if I pull out Excel, then we would have the answer like that, and you guys would just know which way you want to build them. I'm going to build them this way and that way, and right? At the end of the day, we still have to kind of play him and fill out his energy pool. I think the more important thing is we have to fill out his energy pool, because so far, the only definite answer, and even this one feels a little lackluster, is that a 200% energy recharge seems to be a good spot. But in my personal opinion, I feel like he needs even more than that, unfortunately. And that's another thing that scares me. So, I'm going to give him at least 250 energy recharge and see what happens. Hopefully he doesn't need more than that, and that's why we're working on this artifact right here. And I got to get some other sub stats. I got to figure some other things out, but I want to give him at least like 250 just to see what happens. Like, cause 190, 199, like it's even still, it's like not enough. With a pyro character, it's definitely enough. With a pyro character with him, it's more than enough. But if he's the only pyro, it's rough on him. I don't think I have the right weapon. I don't have the right weapon. No, I got a shitty weapon on. Oh, why not? What build do I have on these characters? See how he got his burst back? So that's because Gooba's feeding him particles. And I know there is, he's only getting a portion of the particles, but because he's pyro, he's getting a bigger portion than he normally would if it was, let's say, the Shogun. Right? There's actually a chart on, I should probably post this under tools and resources in our Discord. There's a chart that explains the energy particle breakdown. And I think I probably should have did this a while ago because MiHoYo has been on an energy recharge kick lately. And I know this is, let me say this before I move forward. You know that they want us to have energy recharge somewhere in our kit at some point. Because if you look at all the pieces of their strategy on what they're giving us to pull for, everything is based around energy, right? And I know it's a Inazuma thing. So like, let's say SNES Naya comes, then everything will be around crit. If, we get Diluc's home location, everything could be around the attack stat, right? So since we're in Inazuma, I know for a fact everything is going to be around like energy. We got the Shogun, we got look at the weapons that have come out, look at the new weapons. A really good indicator would be these weapons that are coming out, where they're based on your energy pool, right? So every point of everybody in the entire group, right, you'll get a burst damage bonus based on the pool of everybody. And being that he has a big pool, for obvious reasons, it'll boost his damage. But I mean, who really wants to deal with a pool like that, though? Because the only reason I'm against that is because you're limited to only being effective in your burst. You're not effective at all outside of your burst. You know what I'm saying? He's a puppy. Yeah, he's terrible. The Shogun is the Shogun. Here's the funny thing: the Shogun is a beast in a regular build. You just never see her burst. You never get to her burst. You just will never see her burst. So you need energy recharge, right? So, and I think they are under the idea that all of us are on this energy recharge thing, particularly because of shields of this artifact set. There's a lot of shields for this artifact set, and it's a good set, but that's the direction that they're pushing us for Inazuma, right? In the next update, we're going to be having this defense thing going on, but it's not, I don't think it's really going to turn out to be it's not going to be a defense update. It'll be like a little bit of defense here and there because they're Geo, but then right back to energy. We're still going to get an energy bow, an energy this, an energy that, so on and so forth, right? So, um, but it leaves the character very much so not effective outside of their burst. You know what I'm saying? So, in his case, let me pull it. Well, with that being said, let me go ahead and get to what I was getting to. There's a chart on Phantom. I'm gonna see if I can pull it up. It's a energy recharge. I'm gonna type in Fandom Genshin. I think that's what it is. Energy. Well, should just be energy. So it is. Where is it at? Because there's a distribution table. Here it goes. So, if you pick up a particle as an inactive character and you are of the same element, then it gives you 1.8 energy. So for every particle that Goopa generates, he gets 1.8 when he's not on the field. When he's on the field, he gets 3 energy. Now, let's say Mona gives a bunch of element. For each particle that she gets, he only gets 0.6. You see what I'm saying? Now, let's say it's a white orb. If it's a white orb, you get 2 energy for every particle. And then if the character is off the field, then they get 1.2 energy. You see what I'm saying? So it's the distribution. It also depends on how many characters you actually have in your group too. It gives you, for obvious reasons, it gives you more if you have 2 characters. It gives you, um, you know, more if it's the same particle type, so on and so forth. The same rules applies, but there is a distribution of the particles. So if you're running a Shogun, for everything that the Shogun is producing, then passively he's only getting zero point 0.6. He's not even getting a whole energy from the Shogun when he's off the field. When he's on the field, he's only getting 1.8 out of a pool of 80. You know what I'm saying? So I think in his case, like, you kind of need whatever that constellation is, that I think you kind of need that, because that right there is 7 energy particles worth off the field effectively. It's 5 energy particles with him on the field of his own element. Getting this, after you hit his burst, it's like you just gave him 5 energy particles of his own element. That's the benefit of C4 on his character, which is kind of a lot. Imagine if you could just get 5 energy particles. That'd be amazing. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. I don't know. But yeah, what do you guys plan on doing with him? I'm gonna keep working on his damage. I'm gonna keep running my little tests and whatnot and seeing if there's something I could do. But yeah, so far it's looking like it's gonna be a 4-piece for the damage. It's looking like it's gonna be a 4-piece for the damage. Matter of fact, let me post this. Let me post this in the Discord. Let me get a screenshot first, and then I'll post it with the link. Uh-oh. Tools and resources. Damn, that's an old ass Excel spreadsheet. Energy particle distribution. Oops. All right. Fucking iPad. Okay. He's the face of the table. That's fucking amazing. That is amazing. He is the thumbnail for the page of energy on. Wow, that's pretty bad. Um, all right. Well, anyway, you know what? Let's do this. Let's see if we can actually get. Uh, let's see if we can just get some artifacts. All right. Woo! What's gonna make it rough is I actually want to keep all the not all the artifacts, but I want to keep a lot of the artifacts. That's what's gonna make it kind of rough. And why not? Mm. Another one bites the dust. Who is this? The fuck is this? Nigga, spam. That shit up out of here. Nobody want that shit. Somebody just spam me on Discord. That shit's hella weird. Alright. Hopefully we get something good, and if we do, awesome. If we don't, then alright. But I want to get that energy recharge one up so that I can finish kind of seeing where he's at roughly on his whatchamacallit. Solo. Like I usually co-op this, but yeah, no, it's all good. Kind of thinking I should have ran Mona. Since we're gonna be in here for a little bit, go ahead, pop that, pop that. Okay. Okay. After testing the Shogun weapon and her artifacts, I came to the conclusion that it does make him hit harder, but only for 1K higher? Ooh. Ooh. What kind of subsets? Well, what stats did you put on him? Like, what was his timepiece, goblet, and circlet? Oh, I gotta do this anyway. That's pretty spooky, bro. That is not promising. Oh, wow. Of course we got Shimenawa. Of course. Of course. Hey, we got a burst for Ayaka. They giving everybody defense, bro. It's all good. I just rank up my shitty artifacts. They just insist on giving me shitty artifacts. I wonder if it's a time of day thing. Either that or do I gotta run like Sucrose and Mona or something? I kind of like that. Yeah, I'll do it. Because I got a bunch of characters I need to set anyway. I want to give Zhongli this set and see what happens. Specifically for the Spiral Abyss. 58 crit rate, 180 crit damage, 199 ER, 37 elemental mastery with the Thoma. That's with the R5, right? I'm assuming this with the R5. Oh, wrong person. Trying to make sure I get my burst back. So you're running an attack time piece, right? They hate me. I swear they hate me. Oh, you're running ER? And R1 Thoma? Well, now I think about it, I don't think the rank on it is going to make a big difference. Or the refinement. I don't think the refinement on it is going to make that big a difference. Shit. And he's only hitting 1k harder with her weapon. So what's he hitting for? They keep giving me these defense god rolls. Don't I got one of those? No? I'm going to save that for Ito, just in case. Attack, HP, defense. You could say my artifacts are not the best compared to my witch, but still that should be more than enough for him to hit harder. Yeah, it should be. You shouldn't need god tier stats. Like, that's not going to do... they don't do that much. Like, with the better... Okay, well, to be fair. It'd be like 20% crit damage, but that's only like 20-30% crit damage. Like, that's not gonna make that big of a difference until you're in the like way bigger numbers. Like in the way bigger numbers, then at that point it's like, sure. You know what I mean? Treasure hoarders to test, and it was hidden for 54. Well, they have elemental resistance. Go hit like a hilichurl. A hilichurl has all the hilichurls outside the big ones have standard resistance. Like they all are like 10%, 10%. Like the Whopper flowers are like they have like 30 and 30. The humans have like a 30% elemental resistance, and they have like way lower physical resistance. They're actually weak to physical damage. Um, I could invest on an attack timepiece, but then you'd have crappy ER. Yeah, you don't. Yeah, and that's his issue. And you're running this set anyway, right? Because believe it or not, if I'm not mistaken, like an attack, like an ER timepiece only gets you like what is it? Like 20, like 20 bonus burst damage or something. It's like it's not a whole lot. Hey, no, you good. I knew what you meant. I knew exactly what you meant. Yeah, we're not. Yeah, I'm not running HP on nobody unless it's a god ass roll. Like unless it's got an HP substat, I ain't fucking with it. I like how that one didn't hit for double, but this one will. Oh, okay. I was gonna say, don't troll me now, game. I have no more. Running Fate, yeah. Yeah, they trolling us. Whales are so lucky. They be having thousands of everything. They could just make characters on the spot. Like, y'all motherfuckers, y'all don't know the struggle. The struggle is real. Low spender, let alone free to play? Jesus Christ. Niggas don't know the struggle. We get all the answers late. We get everything late. I'm talking whales. They be having thousands on thousands of. They could just pull more out of thin air and be like, nigga, more is so not a thing today, ass. Um, yep, whatever you just said there, little buddy. All right, what time is it? Cool, cool. All right, so wow, already got all the money. Well, I guess we can do this. I never did this. I've never done that, so I don't think that's actually going to save me anything, but we'll try it. You know, I could just do this. That's it. And I don't have the money. Wow, I'm a dumbass. All right, well. That's not enough. You know, I should probably just get the last two of these. I'll do that tomorrow. I'll get the last two tomorrow. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, so let me know how much it hits for on a hilichurl, though. Because humans do have native resistance to elemental damage. I'm trying to think if I know where just some hoarders are, and I really don't know. I know where everything else is but treasure hoarders. Here, maybe? Actually, I could probably kind of math it out for you if I can find a treasure hoarder. So just have to fucking find a treasure hoarder. Hmm. All right. Oh yeah, yeah. No, you're right. Yeah, they all through these little crevices. Um, where is it? Yeah, they the other way. Yeah, that's behind the mountain. Yep. That should just look cool. Sorry, I got kind of like I got attracted to the water. I was like, that looks really cool. Yeah, sorry, I got super distracted. Um, all right, so I normally hit for something. Let me see how much you get hit for. 4, and then where's a? It's probably a Hilichurl. I could probably just go somewhere and find a Hilichurl. What's going on, Nublis? How you doing, brother? I missed your stream today, dog. I was working on music today. I got a remix that I'm working on. But yeah, I did see you stream today, man. Was it popping? I hope it was popping for you today. So what I hit? 444 or 8? Alright. Okay, obviously not him. 444 is oh wow. Whoa. Yeah, no, I'm definitely gonna check it out. I saw this one you did. You was blasting on that motherfucker, man. You were probably like 2-3 hours, or not 2-3 hours in. You were probably like 2 hours in, and I had your stream up while I was kind of working on the music, like a couple days ago. And I look over, and the whole screen is just this dude shooting the fuck out of something. I'm like, bro, he just blew that nigga up. Like, what happened? Shit was crazy. All right, so I guess, yeah, so I guess they're not weak to elemental damage. Huh. And if you hit them for 5,000, yeah, that's still kind of low, bro. And your talent, what's your talent level at? What's your talent level at? Matter of fact, let me do it like this. Let's just use regular numbers. So my Ayaka skill hits for like 20,000, right? 17. Okay. So there's a 17 on hers, right? That skill is, oh my god. Okay. That's not looking, I don't think it's going to be possible, bro. Shit. We might be shooting at nothing. Thoma, Genshin. Hold on. I would use the fandom site, but Honey Impact loads faster, so fandom could kiss my ass for now. Let's see. So his base attack is You have got to be shitting me. Hey, Stitch just started streaming. I got a notification. Yo. Nah, hold on. That can't be his base damage, dog. Did you see his base? Did you see his base attack? Where's that shit at? His base attack is 202, bruh. Oh, but he gets 24% attack. Bro. You're 696? I don't want to believe it either, but Jesus Christ. So he's got a. So he does have base 24%, but nigga. Hold on, I gotta do some comparisons real quick. Bro, my brain is firing at all Warframe levels of cylinders right now, and I'm like, oh no, like that shit, like nah. Okay, so that's not super bad. Okay, so that's not unwork-withable at 202. Because he has a secondary stat that gives him yeah, he has a secondary stat that gives him plus 24 attack for whatever reason that I can't show for some reason or another, but it's there, so which I guess isn't bad. So he's really like 250 attack, I guess technically, but his base is low. His base is kind of low. His H, bro, he's got like basically the same HP as Yang Ling. The fuck? I will crack this code. All right, let me go back to Thoma. All right, so Thoma's skill is what? Okay, so the skill hits half. Damn, the skill hits half of what hers is hitting for. And then his burst, here we go. Why the fuck is that burst so weak? Like, why? Oh my god, why is it so weak though? You know what? Was he at 81%? Yeah, he's not. Yeah, he's not good at all so far. Shield's fine, just damage is like nah. I mean, he might do better, but I don't think it's gonna be that much better, even if you slot attacking. I don't think we are gonna be able to get his base up. You said half baked burst? Yeah. Like I don't like I get why they gave him noblesse. Like maybe noblesse, maybe two-piece pyro, two-piece noblesse might be the trick. But it doesn't ignore the fact you gotta have all this energy recharge on him. If it's well, yeah, you can add an attack, like an attack timepiece will boost the damage of his burst. Yeah, the four-piece emblem on him is gonna help. I mean, noblesse to help him, but maybe a four-piece noblesse will help his attack or something. But you still see, because the problem is you got to put all this energy recharge on him. Like he's usable outside of having to have all this energy recharge. Like you have to have all this energy recharge on him. Not outside of it, but that's kind of a problem. So the issue that we're running into with Thoma is we're having to replace 1 to 2, in more cases than not, we're having to replace 2 whole stat pockets with energy recharge, whether it be on the weapon or the weapon and the timepiece or a 2-piece stat or something. Like he's needing energy recharge in like 1 to 2 places. It's almost to the point where it's like a minimum 2 spots he needs energy recharge just to keep him up to speed. You know what I mean? It bumped into 6 or 7K. So he's at 6 or 7K, but how's his energy recharge now? Why the hell did I come over here? Self-defensive, pyro waves, yeah. 153 energy recharge. But I mean, how's it feel? Like, how's his energy recharge feel? Oh, that's what I was doing. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? Don't judge me.
做些什么好呢？这次去哪儿转转？
Crit rate is bad. What kind of shitty stats I got on him? I'm gonna put her set. I'm gonna put what's the name's Mona set on this guy real quick. Just because a motherfucker is curious what a level 1 Xing Cho could do against a... Hey, no cap, I'm gonna be salty if this turns out the way I think it is. His ER feels clunky. Like it's hard to get back to, huh? $900, $1,200, close enough. All right, so... You just say your own name, Zing Show. You tripping? Talking to yourself?
拒收并蓄，我是盾，踩！
I'm gonna die. Bro, that skill on Xingqiu is no joke, dog. That shit is worse than Thoma.
雨线难化，
固若金汤。
You know what's sad? They feel so similar at that point.
找我，
果然是秘术，该行动了。
Don't go away. Don't go away. The duration. No! Did that shit just hit for 7? Wait a minute. Yeah, if you feel like, all right, well, we're gonna conclude it for tonight then, Saint, because I don't want to go too crazy with it. But from what it seems like so far, because I was kind of waiting on the results you were gonna get. From what it seems like so far, is for Thoma to hit a base of 10k on his burst. You do need God rolls. If you're gonna do it via ER, it has to have that 4P set, bro. It takes 58 weeks after reaching AR 58. It'd be a year to reach 60. I mean, if you keep doing it, you'll be there. Free to play only. I mean, either way, I mean, we'll all be there at some point. We'll all be level 60. You know, for all the ones who were playing when it first came out, we'll all eventually be level 60. You know what I mean? It feels like it's like World of Warcraft almost. Like you can go from level 1 to 40 in a day.
这几天花的太多，身上
In some cases, you can go to. I'm talking about an average player. Like you can go to like level from 1 to like actually from like 1 to like 50 in a day, and then it'll take you like a week to get from 50 to 60, and it'll take you like a couple weeks to get from 60 to 70, and then it'll take you like a month and a half to get from 70 to 80. You know what I mean? So it takes significantly longer to like level up. I mean, when I was playing it, at least that's how it felt. Like it was taking hell long to hit 80. Hell long. But, you know. Yeah, I mean, but level 60, you don't get nothing for hitting a higher level, really, yo.
我请客。
Like, if they were giving us something like we hit harder, then sure. But if I don't hit harder, it's like MR and Warframe. Like, you don't get nothing from being a higher level. Once you hit 55, unless the world level increases, if the drops increase, then hell yeah, let's try and get that higher level. But unless there's something I'm actually getting outside of just saying I'm level 60, then I could wait. Like it's not a big deal. It's gonna be a year. That's fine. Cause they're not giving anybody anything for 60. What is it like? One wish, like 60 primo gems and like 40,000 more or something. Now if it was like 2,000 primo gems, like 20 million more or like a billion more or something, because you're probably gonna spend more than a billion more by the time you even hit 60. We probably spent a billion more already. Well, probably not that much, but we probably spent like a lot. Well, maybe, because it's 4 million, like just to level a character, right? Something like that, right? Just to level a character, and I think plus the talents, maybe plus the talents, right? So if you do that across God knows how many characters, it's got to be at least 50 million. I mean, clearly not a billion, but it's got to be like at least 50 million or something like that we spent already. So if they give us 50 million, then yeah, man, shit. Let me hit 60 like now and give me all my primo gems back. Like, I'll take all of that. I don't even need, just give me a 10 pull worth at least. If I'm being realistic, fuck that. Give me a 5-star. Give me a 5-star character of my choosing, and then I'll go for 60. But if I'm just getting the 60 primo gems, like, nigga, I don't give a fuck about that. I give a fuck about trying to get this guy to do some type of DPS. You know what I'm saying? But the general consensus with Thoma right now, I think, is he needs energy recharge. And if he needs energy recharge, you're giving up 2 stats, so you might as well benefit from it. And if you're going to benefit from it, the only way I can think of benefiting from it is via the emblem set, which for all intents and purposes could actually be weaker, but you need energy recharge anyway. So you're kind of choke held into this weird build position as far as DPS is concerned, if that's the case. And the only way he's even going to see the light of day on 10K base is with God rolls, regardless of what set you put on him. And if you go emblem set, you got to get crit damage and energy recharge and HP. Like in that order though. Like crit damage to hit 3 times, energy recharge to hit like twice, and then HP as a base stat or some shit. Or to hit once on HP. Or something like that. You know what I mean? Be dumb. Yeah, hey, more likely same here, man. By the time I hit 60, probably some other shit going on. I'm waiting for Blue Protocol, bro. Blue Protocol, to my understanding, is Genshin Impact, but you make your own character, which it'd be nice if I could just have characters or get new characters and do the Genshin Impact things, but to my understanding, it's supposed to be kind of like Genshin Impact, just with no resin, and I'd rather play this game without resin. But yeah, I'm with you, Nooblets. Like, when I hit 60, I'll still play it at 60 if the game is still fun. But I feel like, here's what they really should do though, all bullshit aside. Like, because what they say is when you hit 60, instead of getting AR, you get Mora. Which is stupid because that's 200 Mora. Why are you spending resin on 200 Mora? Like, that's not giving you anything. Right, so I think if anything, what they should do is just, if you got to the point where you hit 60, you should not have to deal with resin anymore because you did all the resin. Now that's just my opinion. But once you hit 60, resin doesn't count anymore. You actually don't have to use resin anymore. You've proved that you're going to stay and you're probably going to leave anyway. So unlimited resin. I don't see what the problem is. But, you know, Chinese company. So, you know, that's another conversation for another day. But as far as his damage is concerned, the only way I see him getting a 10K coming from 7K is you unfortunately would have to get somewhere around 50 to 70% more crit damage in some way. And it would have to be via resonance or something. It has to be a resonance somewhere in there. Like, he can be the DPS, but you're going to need like another resonance in there somewhere. Like, it has to be there. Like, if I ran like this team, sure. But outside of that, like, it's got to be a resonance and something else going on. I'm talking at base. Without reactions, resonance is the only outside thing that I think will happen for him to be able to hit that number in a Spiral Abyss. At the moment, done with the game. Let these new players do plenty. Yeah. I just like the build. That's the only reason I'm playing. But yeah, I mean, yeah. If you done with the game, I completely understand. You know what I mean? I completely understand. You know what I mean? But I like to build, so, and there's a lot of like gaps and holes and things to play with, you know, like, oh, they couldn't do it. Let me see if I could do it. I'll put myself to the task and see if I could do it. Because everybody gave up on his DPS. And I'm like, there has to be something. Like, everybody's done all the tests. Like, I know they did all the things. But it's like, fuck it, I'll try it. You know, can't hurt. You know, it's like everybody's trying to screw in a screwdriver, and they're like, and 30 niggas tried it. You know, but what do? You're like, you know what? I'll try it, and then you try it, and then if you fail, it's like, oh, okay, well, we should probably call a mechanic. But you try to clink, clink, clink. You try to turn it, and you know, you never know. Maybe after 30 people tried it, they loosened something. Because from what they're doing, that's telling me what not to do. You know what I mean? Like, what not to do for DPS is run a bootsy ass 4-piece set with HP stats. Don't do that. Like, don't run 4-piece emblem for HP for shields. Don't do that. You can, but it's not gonna work. Just run Bolide and Tenacity with HP Sands and call it a day. Because the amount of benefit you're gonna get from Bolide is gonna take your shield health, whatever that number is. Let's say you got, just for example's sake, you have 1,000 health. Unless new Archon quests. Oh, well, those are gonna come, but that's gonna be like way over time. Like that's gonna take. It's gonna be a while before we get there. We still got to get Champagne or wherever that water place is called, and then we got to get Sneeze on my knee. Snez I'm trying to be funny and it's not working. And then we got to get Dendro, and then we got to get D-Luke's spot, which I think is gonna be last. I think once we get D-Luke's hometown, then I think that's gonna be the last spot. That fire spot, I really believe that's going to be the last spot because that's when everybody's going to get what they actually want, which is DPS. We'll get crit rate before we get DPS. We'll get healing before we get DPS. We'll get whatever the fuck Dendro is before we get DPS. I still don't know what Dendro. I think Dendro is just a buff. That's what it kind of looks like. That's what I'm starting to think it is. Like Burn is just a tip of the iceberg. But I'm kind of starting to think like maybe they might introduce more reactions. Like let's say you hit somebody with Dendro, right? And then you hit them with Cryo. Does it lower their resistance to crit? Or does it lower their resistance to crit damage? Or do they magically get, do they hitting this enemy with Dendro and this, that, and if you do the freeze Dendro, frozen leaf, whatever they call it, this character is now vulnerable to crits. You can just have a 0 crit chance and magically hit them with crits. Like it might be some shit like that. Like I don't know. Or if you hit them with water and then do a Dendro, then that like heals you or something. Like I don't know. I feel like Dendro is going to be like incoming healing is buffed when you heal off somebody who's hit by Dendro or something or whatever. I feel like Dendro's gonna be that because whatever it did to fire is like, nigga, come on now. Like now we just doing too much, So, but fire, yeah, it's gonna be all attack based, all attack. Because like every fire character is just attack. Add a bunch of attack and pyro, call it a day. Add a bunch of attack and pyro, call it a day. There's like no crit, like in the kit. There's just attack, pyro, bam. Need more attack? Here's more attack. More attack, here's an extra arrow. Fuck it. Big damage. 200%. Who gives a fuck? 200%. Bam. Just extra damage. Just damage. Here's damage. All right. That's what it feels like to me. Oh, you need more damage? Oh, you got a crit, but your charge attacks do shit. Okay. Crit rate. Okay, I get that. But that's more of a cryo thing. Maybe it might be crit. I don't know. Could be crit. I know it's damage based. I know pyro is like all damage, so we just gotta wait and see what happens with pyro. But I really believe whatever the Archon is for pyro, that's where all the attack artifacts are gonna shine. Like it's gonna be all attack. That's what I feel like it's gonna happen. Anyways, yeah. So I guess we can conclude it here for Mr. Thoma. As far as builds are concerned. My theoretical best build for Thoma that makes him an A tier, based on my little like tier suggestions and all that shit. My theoretical build for Thoma is going to involve this weapon and HP across the board. And you can technically have this one be energy recharge if you must, but definitely HP, Bolide Tenacity, give that to him, call it a day. That's going to be my little 2 cents for the guy. You know what I mean? Might be hydro and pyro. I mean, it could be. I mean, especially with the way somebody. I mean, I don't know. When it comes to that, yeah, I don't know. As far as an Archon, I don't think it'd be like a hybrid, but if that's what you're talking about, like a new Archon being hydro, like and pyro, but like to my understanding, the ones that are coming out, if you're talking about the ones that's coming out, to my understanding, it's water, dendro, and then Snezhnaya. It's I don't know if water, dendro, or I think it's dendro first and then water, but it's one of those two, and then the other one of those two, and then ice, and then after that we get pyro. Somebody asked me a question. I think it was Saint. Was like, what would happen if there was a physical catalyst user? And I don't think I ever really thought about it, but what would happen if there was an Archon of physical damage? And if there is, would that Archon be the citizens of Teyvat? Are they collectively the Archon of physical damage? Wouldn't that be some shit? I summon the heart, like Goku in the Spirit Bomb, how he like pulls energy from everybody. What if somebody was like, I'm the Archon of physical damage, and they just summon the power of humanity, and they hit harder than Eula? Like, get that magical blue bitch out of here. Like, watch this. Hold my beer. You know what I mean? And they hit for like 90 million on a physical hit. But they can't do any elements though. Borderline like a catalyst user. That'd be weird. I'll stop. All right. That was a dumb thought. All right. Anyway, so conclusion to Thoma. If you're going for damage, the direction that I think we're gonna go in with Ryuji in that stream, 4K. Okay, I'm gonna have to check that out then. So I think when it comes to the build for Thoma, I think it's, if you're going for DPS, then you're either running Pyro Noblesse. You can run a skill build. If you're running DPS for his skill, I don't recommend that because there is no sacrificial weapon for him. So you're not really going to be able to just deal with the cooldown like that. But if you're going for DPS on his burst, similar like a Xingqiu type of situation, then you're probably going to be looking at either Pyro and Noblesse with 2 energy recharge stats, or at bare minimum, 1 energy recharge stat somewhere, Pyro and a crit balance. You're going to have to do that on a 4-piece emblem for DPS. For shields, I'm still going to, and I'm not going to stop recommending this until everybody else jumps on board. If they even jump on board. If they don't jump on board, I'm still rocking this shit. Bolide, Tenacity for shields. And if you need energy recharge, Timepiece, Favonius weapon. If you just want just the shield and that's it, then you would run whatever that HP staff is, whatever that 3-star HP one is, run that, all HP stats, 2-piece Bolide, 2-piece Tenacity. Call it a day. You are done. You have infinite Omega super god tier shield as far as 4 stars are concerned. The same way we did Barbara for her heals. She's super duper mega Barbara. You'd be doing the same thing just for Thoma, right? So as far as builds, you know, if you guys find anything, you know, tricky or, you know, whatever, let me know what you find. So far, Saint, you know, shout out to Saint. He was able to get Thoma up to 7K base, meaning that if you did a melt off of it, he would be hitting for 14K, which is not bad, but could definitely be much better. You know what I'm saying? And keep in mind, it's a talent level 6, which isn't super high, but, you know, like I said, you usually know where they're going by talent level 6. By talent level 6, let alone like 4 or 5, like you kind of got an idea of where they're going. And if he's only hitting for 7K at talent level 6, pushing kind of close to like a capped build, he is not going to hit 20K at base. I guarantee that. So you're not going to be hitting 40 or none of that shit on melt or none of that. maybe with a sucrose Mona, this, that, and the third, and then you swing without hitting the enemy, and then the fire hits the enemy, and off of vape with Mona, Bennett, and sucrose, at that point you'll hit 40, maybe higher, 50, but beyond that, nah. So what I would recommend, what I can recommend for now, is just build him for shields. For any main DPSers out there, I'm still going to be doing my research. You're punching air right now. I believe it, man. I believe it. We might see a rework. I don't know. I doubt it because he's a 4-star character. But it depends on what everybody is saying. It depends on how pissed off everybody gets. I'm pissed because I like him. And there are people who were really looking forward to him, to use him for what we're trying to use him for. And they're not going to be able to use him for that. Like, basically, they were fans of the character because the character is cool and their character is just not that guy. He's just not that guy. He is a shield, and that's where it stops, right? And that is very sad because it looks really cool, right? But if the community does go kind of left, like they did with Zhongli, then we might see a change to Thoma. Because why? Because here was my question with Zhongli before I stopped the stream. Here was my thing with Zhongli. And bear with my profanity for a hot second. Why in the absolute fucktard of a fucking universe worth of fuckery? Why in the holy hell of fuckery would you invest all this super cool fucking animation to the point where he kicks the fucking spear into this guy and make his normals hit so trash? Why on God's green earth would you make his normals hit for 52%? That makes no fucking sense. Yeah, he's got the passive now, but my God, it was terrible back then. It was super terrible, right? And people were like, you don't build him for that. And it's like, I don't give a fuck. Why do this? Why does he kick it and I don't get any reward for doing the kick? That makes no fucking sense. And with him, why does he have that move right there, let alone throw it? Why does he have that animation, but his normals are so trash, right? So you want to DPS with the character. Your brain, you're happy, you get happy chemicals for doing the flippity flops and the swing and the flowies and the this and the charge and the blow and then the cool animation on the burst. He does the kabuki stance on the burst, and then the fire and the Japanese flame graphical kind of look. Like he feels, looking at him, like he should be doing something, but he's doing a whole lot of nothing, right? So it just depends on how the community responds to his damage output. And as long as I think the community knows what they like about his damage output and what they don't like about his damage output, and they're actually able to give constructive requests, like an actual request, like, hey, we want his burst to do bigger numbers. Make it to where when I hit the shield, I get a buff on his burst or something. Like, oh, you get 25% burst damage or 15% burst damage, but beef his base burst up a little bit, or beef up the number that his burst is scaling with as far as his HP or something, or make him scale, I don't know, something, whatever. Or his normals are fucking ass, so I want to do the normals and the swingy swooshy things, but I can't do the swooshy swooshies because there's no reason to do it. I might as well be playing Barbara. And I'm not even joking with you guys. Like, I actually feel like he's going to be hitting like Barbara hits. He hits like Barbara. Let me put it that way. Barbara might hit harder than him. Actually, I hate to say it. No, she does not hit harder than him. Oh, I was about to say, like, what the fuck? but yeah, you guys know what I'm saying though, right? So if the community demands something out of him, he doesn't have to hit like a 5-star, but my God, don't hit like a fucking, like, less than a 4-star though. Hit like a 4-star. And right now, he hits less than a 4-star. Noelle hits harder than him. Diona, which this is what's pretty fucked up. Allegedly, and I believe this because I played with one DPS Diona, and she actually was hitting hard as fuck. Right, so I believe Diona hits harder than him. Not in a verse, but she hits harder than Thoma. Noelle obviously hits harder than Thoma, and Xinyan obviously hits harder than Thoma. These are 4-star shield characters. So far it looks like all three hit harder. He may have a stronger shield, but they do hit harder, right? So I don't know if that's the way that they're balancing him out as far as a 4-star character is concerned. If it is, then say that shit. But if it's not, then he needs a buff, basically. And that's my review of Thoma. Is he usable? Is he still an A tier in my book? Yeah, because that shield is like, I talked about it in my viability stream. It was a 6-hour stream, but for all intents and purposes, yeah, I still believe he's an A tier. He's still he's still a great character. He just hits like a piece of toilet paper. Not even wet. It's not even wet. Like wet toilet paper hits harder than he hits. He hits like perfectly dry toilet paper. DPS Barber hits 1,000 times harder than this guy. She hits so much fucking harder than him. DPS Barber actually hits hard. He doesn't hit hard at all. My DPS Barber hits harder than he hits. But that's Barbara. She's what, 233 on a charge attack? And he's at level 4 at 144 on his. To be fair, he might hit similar to Barbara. It's just his is spread out. Barbara can only DPS by this. This is all she has to DPS. Well, she has that, but that does nothing, basically, as far as damage. It just, like, wets the enemy. But this is the only tool she has to do DPS. I mean, he could do this. He has a burst. He has damage over time with his burst. And then on top of that, he has his normals. So that kind of makes sense. But I think he might be in a similar class as far as DPS output is concerned as Barbara. Which is kind of where my prediction was going. And when I said it, I was warning myself. I was telling you guys, but I was kind of warning myself too. Like, okay, when it comes to Thoma, we're going to have to pick a side. All in or all in. That's it. You can only go all in on this character. So, conclusion, either go, and when I say all in, I mean all in. You got to go all the way into DPS, which we know by now is harder to go into. It's harder to spec into. Or you spec all the way into his shield, and that's it. So the cool flippy thing is cool, but these don't work anymore. Just don't level this at all. Only rank his burst up to the point where it enhances his shield, and don't try to get DPS out of it. If you're making a DPS Thoma, get the artifacts first, then scale him up, but don't expect to hit 10k all of a sudden. You need like 200 to 250% crit damage, and your crit rate is just going to be whatever the crit rate is, but you are going to need a really high crit damage multiplier, just for him in general to hit hard. And then depending on the set you use is going to determine not determine how you play, but how you play is going to determine what set you're going to use. If you're building for his burst, Pyro Noblesse, or the 4-piece emblem set, depending on if you want to run a burst build or not. If you're not building for the burst, then whatever is kind of whatever. You can run Bolide, I guess. You can run whatever the fuck you want. 4-piece Gladiator, I guess. You can run whatever. At that point, it's based on how you play. But at the end of the day, let how you play dictate how you build him. And for all we know, because it's still, in my opinion, way too early to deem impossible. It just looks very impossible, but, well, we said that about Barbara. So, let's give it a few more days. Like I said, it's about a week. You got to give him about a week. He's only been out, 2-3 days? So give it about 4 or 5 more days. And by that time, all the like fans of Thoma would have, I would imagine by that time, gotten them ranked up, gotten their builds on them, because I feel like more Thoma fans are more low spenders, mid spenders, free to play. Whales got them for YouTube videos. They got them for the YouTubes or as a byproduct of getting more, or they weren't here when Hu Tao first came out, or they skipped the banner, or whatever the fuck their reason is. They got him as a byproduct, or they got him just to have him, just to fear of him missing out or some shit. But they're not gonna build him like that. You know what I mean? But the people who really want him spent their last earning dollars to get him, and they have him. And let me tell you, they are going to make it work somehow. We just have to wait. Right? So prediction 1 has already came through. The whales put out their whale videos, right? And they're, look, I recommend this. And already we're getting some like, all right, well, I don't know where the fuck you going with this. This looks like just a quick plug and play. But one weapon is not going to magically make this nigga better now. Like, look, come on. Right. So let's give it a few more days for the like actual Thoma fans to kind of play catch up and see what happens. Right. I'm going to continue doing my research. I still just have to do more farming to actually play test it. And I'm going to be doing my part alongside them. As far as DPS is concerned, I have a whole Diona set, so I know what his shield kind of looks like. I just need to rank him up to get the full benefit of it, because I'm scaling off a small like amount. You know what I mean? But anyway, I guess we'll conclude it right there. Your boy is hungry and really wants to have a cigarette. Plus, I don't want to talk y'all ears off anymore. But that concludes this video. Bow Light Tenacity, 4-piece emblem, 2-piece Noblesse Pyro. Make sure you got some energy recharge somewhere in the kit. If you don't want energy recharge, blah, 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 blah. I don't want to keep going in circles, but you guys know what's up. Favonius Greatsword, my personal opinion, is best in slot weapon as far as his energy recharge is concerned. You're going to need it regardless if you have shields or not, because that's how you replenish your shield when he's in cooldown. Plus, there's no sacrificial weapon as far as polars are concerned. So your energy recharge is your sacrificial, basically. So that's where the Favonius bow comes in. And you could supplement your HP with just an HP timepiece if you really need that, like that bad. Yeah. Plus, I think that gives you more HP than the. I don't know. Anyway, you guys know where I'm going. Anyway, without further ado, this is CS from DWP. If you guys have any feedback, any recommendations, anything for me, constellations, even like whatever. Just let me know. And as always, keep your wig screwed on tight. And if you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. And I love y'all, and I'll be hollering at y'all in the next piece of content. Saint, keep your head up, man. Just give it a little bit more time. It's not promising. Don't expect anything great, but let's just chill. Wait, see what happens. All right. And I'll holler at y'all on the next one. All right. Love y'all. Peace. Woo!